Welcome to Love and Murder. I'm your host Ky, along with my host Char. A mother and daughter relationship is one of the strongest relationships out there. Even when your daughter dates your current boyfriend, he breaks up with you and starts a relationship with her, but she's your daughter and your best friend, and you don't want to lose that relationship, so you allow her and your ex-boyfriend, which is now her current boyfriend, to move into your house. This is the twisted and unfortunate case of Julia Andrews in the Sundown Town, right now on Love and Murder. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder. I am your host, Ky, along with my co-host, the illustrious, the gorgeous, the beautiful.
Wow. Now, you guys know that anytime there's that many exaggerations, I'm probably quite ugly, quite a sight to see, and not in a great way. But if you all could have heard a moment ago, we're having one of those really funny days where we did like 10 takes because Ky kind of forgot her name. So she's like, I'm your host. What's my name again? It's Ky. Okay. Take 12. I'm your host. It's Ky. Oh yeah, I'm your host, Ky.
That's not what happened.
I'm exaggerating just as much as she exaggerates my introduction, which by the way is very sweet. Thank you.
But you didn't even say your name. I said all of that and you didn't even say your name.
Oh, after the illustrious, I was just baffled. I'm your host, and now it's my turn. Take 12.
Oh,
and I'm your host, Char. What an introduction.
And this is Love and Murder, the podcast that talks about relationships gone terribly wrong. And when I say terribly wrong, Char, how wrong do I mean?
She means dead wrong.
Dead,
dead as a doornail.
Wrong. 6 feet under wrong. Yeah, so with our podcast, like I said, we talk about relationships, we talk about true crime, we give you story, we give you suspense, and we sprinkle it just on top with a little bit of humor. But we don't do humor at the expense of the victim, but just at the situation or whatever story that we're telling in between. So this is No Conduct Radio. Did I just say no conduct? Oh my God.
Yes, you did, everyone. You guys heard that, especially the No Conduct fans that followed us over to L&M. Yes, she said it, but she means she's the producer of both shows, and now it is Love and Murder.
You know what it is, guys? We usually record on a whole different day, and I am discombobulated. It's bright and sunny outside, which we never record when it's sunny. And
we don't, for some reason. And I'm in Atlanta. I'm remote. I'm recording remote on location. Okay, so it's like we both are just kind of like in a different space today. But not that we're not excited to talk to you guys. We are always excited to share with our listeners yet another true crime saga. Dum. Yes. So bear with us, everyone.
If you've listened to us before, or even if you're new here, go ahead and check us out on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are everywhere like the plague. Follow us on social media. The links will be in the show notes below. I don't usually say the links and everything in the beginning of the show because I don't want to take up time with that. You can wait till the end of the show. If you just want to hear my gorgeous voice telling you these links, you can wait till the end of the show where I'll tell you that, or you could simply read below to get all our links for all of our social media. If you want bonus episodes of the craziest true crime stories, relationship Q&A, and Char's, this crazy woman over there, her crazy life stories, then you can go ahead and head on over to our YouTube, where we're going to actually start doing bonus episodes over there. We did have a Patreon. We still have a Patreon, but we kind of figured maybe we should give our listeners free stories. I think that's better, to give you free stories than to make you pay for it. This is what I'm thinking. But we'll see. Y'all tell us what you prefer. Because I guess if we do the Patreon, we can get more into the nitty gritty. But if we do it on YouTube, we got to kind of censor ourselves. So.
We want to tell it all.
Because Char has some pretty stories, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
pretty risque.
But
I mean,
either way, head on over to our YouTube. The link is below in the show notes, and just go ahead and subscribe so you can hear all of our crazy bonus episodes. Now, if you've listened to our show before and you like it, or even after this episode, or in the middle of this episode, or literally right now, please go to Apple Podcasts and hit the purple button and give us 5 stars to tell us what you think of us. I mean, you could think you hate us, but still give us 5 stars. Say whatever you want in the description. What that does, it helps brings us up in the
that's
charts.
a little bipolar, but yeah, I mean, it's okay if that works for you.
That's fine. It helps bring us up in the charts and helps other people find our podcast as well. So now today we're actually going to get into a case here. And this case is, I don't know if y'all have heard of this. It's a crazy case. It's a crazy love triangle. Char, wait till you hear this one. But
okay.
This is the case of Julia Andrews and Randy Petty. So buckle up. It is going to get crazy in here.
3 and 4 ride, huh?
Yeah. So
okay.
Julia Andrews was born on July 21st, 1954. So she's actually older than my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I could normally find something about, like if you listen to our other episodes, there's actually something about their early lives. Even if it's not much, it's something. But with Julia, I couldn't find crap. I could not find anything about her early life. Because I think they were just like really, really focused on the crime or something. I don't know. But I couldn't find anything about her early life at all.
So nothing that would tell us that maybe she had some type of traumatic childhood experience.
Nothing.
Okay.
The earliest story that I found was that she was on a felony probation before due to felony charge she'd gotten in Hardin County, Texas. According to her, she had given someone some money to buy, as she calls it, a prohibited substance. And she knew it was going to be given to an inmate who was in jail at the time. So she got a felony charge for that. That's the earliest story that I've known about her. Now, why?
But that's crazy. Did you say to give it to an inmate? I mean, that's so bold and brazen.
She gave it to somebody who she knew was going to give it to an inmate. Give it to
okay.
Yeah.
And it traced back to her.
Exactly. So
crazy.
Why she got into mixed into this crowd or
how did all that happen about?
That I don't know. So, anyway, this story takes place in Vidor, Texas. Now, the funny thing about this, Char, and I know this means absolutely nothing to you if I say Vidor, Texas. Now, when I moved to Texas, I moved to Houston for like 10 years. So when I moved to Texas, I was always told never to stop in Vidor. So I've driven through this town, but I've never stopped there. Like if I needed gas, I would stop before or after, but never in. It's actually known. Well, I'll say it was actually known as a Sundown Town. So
so after sunset, you better get out
if you're not white. Yes,
of course,
exactly.
Yes.
So for our listeners, if you don't know what a Sundown Town is, after sunset, if you're not white, you better not be caught in that town. That's what a Sundown Town is.
That's right.
However, because I wasn't sure, when I looked at the name, I was like, Vidor, I know that name. So I researched it, and it looks like they've actually recently had a Black Lives Matter march on June 6, 2020. So
that was pretty recently.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this little excerpt from an article titled Black Lives Matter Comes to Vidor. Yes, Vidor, from TexasMonthly.com. So this is what the article says. Quote, Vidor, Texas, boomed the Reverend Michael Cooper, thin and tall in his cowboy hat, will now be known for love. The crowd assembled at a dilapidated pavilion on the ground of Vidor's Raymond Gould Community Center cheered. Vidor has been known for many things, among them the activities of the Ku Klux Klan in the 90s. In the 90s!
Whoa.
Its status as a sundown town in which blacks were not allowed in city limits after dark, and an ugly fight in the early 90s over a federal effort to to desegregate. I'm so not into, segregation, I couldn't even get it out.
Right.
Over a federal effort to desegregate public houses in the city, which caused Texas Monthly in a cover story that year to describe Vidor as Texas's most hate-filled town. The census estimates it to be 91% white. So when word started to circulate that a Black Lives Matter rally was being planned in Vidor,
Oh, I can only imagine. That's
many
chaotic.
people on social media thought it was a trap and expressed
Mm-hmm.
skepticism over the event's supposed planner, 23-year-old Maddie Malone, ever existed. But she does. To black folks with a knowledge of the region who has been told never to stop in Vidor, the idea seemed insane. A civil rights rally in Vidor is the punchline to a joke, not a thing that could happen in this world. Come on. So that's the excerpt. That's the end of the excerpt. So as you can see, it's like, first of all, in the 90s, the Ku Klux Klan had activities going on. Second of all, like they said, like the author said, it's known as a sundown town. Third of all, like I said, I was told never to stop there, and even the article says black people are always told never to stop there. And fourth, they're doing a Black Lives Matter rally, and people thought it was a trap, because I would have thought it was a trap too with what I know about
Yeah.
Vidor. I wouldn't have gone. And then I looked at the picture and I just saw white people. I didn't see black people, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but what that told me is like, they thought it was a trap too. Nobody was going, like, nobody was quote unquote falling for that. However, basically, let me put it this way. You could read the rest at texasmonthly.com, and the link will actually be in the show notes on our website, www.murderandlove.com. But I'm just saying, like, I still, even if they were saying this, which I'm happy they're doing this, it's, a step in the right direction, because 2021, are you serious? This shouldn't be even a thing anymore.
Yeah, that's really shocking.
But even though, with what I know about Vidor, I'm not going there to help with the effort. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're on their own.
I'm not
Sorry.
MLK in it, because you ain't getting me at my front door. That's not happening. So
Yeah.
But good on them that they're changing, But I'll still drive through Vidor. I'm still not stopping. I'm sorry.
Very, very quickly, but you'll drive through very fast.
So somebody who, I remember when I was in Texas, this person who was driving from Chicago to Houston, he was moving. He didn't know. He didn't have anybody in Houston, so nobody told him. And he stopped in Vidor for gas. And it was during the day. And they wouldn't give him gas. He was like, I could pay with my credit card. She was like, I don't take credit card. Then the other person came right next to him and paid with their credit card. Then he was like, well, I can give you cash. And she was like, I don't have change. He's like, I could write a check. And like, she would not sell him gas at all. He ended up having to leave. Like, she wouldn't sell him gas. So that was,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah, that was only like in the last 20 years anyway. So it wasn't even that long ago. So that's what I know of Vidor. But good on y'all. But maybe the next generation, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm not stopping there. Anyway, back to our story. Julius.
Oh my gosh, no, it doesn't sound like very much fun. I'm just trying to picture, because Texas is so large, and I don't think about all the small towns and what they're, the politics, that make it tick, or things that you really should know about, just in case you have to pull it over, in case you have to stop at the bathroom or get some gas. It's like, these are things, but it really help to read up on if you're doing a road trip, for example. Just in case you stop here, know that. If you stop there, know this. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes you really think.
I remember I did a road trip. I don't remember what state I was in, but I stopped for gas and got out my car, and literally everybody at the gas station stopped what they were doing to stare at me. And I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, okay. And I was on the phone with my aunt. So I just filled up gas, and then I had to use the bathroom. So I went into the gas station area. It was like a rest stop, so it was a big place. And I went to use the bathroom, and I went in the back to where the bathroom is. And I'm not even lying to you right now, from ceiling to floor was a Confederate flag.
Oh no.
And I held my pee and I turned right
No.
around and I walked out to my car and everybody was still staring at me. I got in my car. I'm telling my aunt, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I got in my car and I drove away. I could hold my pee. That was not happening. So
Okay, well that was a creepy story, but I've got one to top that. This is a little different. So my friend and my best friend and I, my BFF, we went on a road trip from Vegas to Maryland, DC area. But so we had to stop at a lot of different small towns, in between. Do you know that at one point we were just like so over the whole ride thing, just exhausted and thinking, gosh, is there anything to do for fun? Maybe we could just do something just to get all this, kind of off our mind. We just wanted to kind of shake a little bit. And we saw a whole biker gang, like a bunch of bikers. I don't know how many there were, but they weren't like the threatening bikers, like Hell's Angels. Well, Hell's Angels actually protect you, but they were just like a biker gang. Do you know that we decided to follow wherever they ended up at, because there were so many of them. We figured they were going to maybe a rally or something, but it wasn't like we felt threatened. It was just crazy. So we followed them for about maybe 8 miles.
wait a
And
second.
they ended up,
Wait a
yeah.
second. You said it's not like they were going to a rally, or you didn't know if they were going to a
Well,
rally?
we just assumed that we probably thought, okay, let's see. No, not a rally like that. Not a white supremacist rally.
Oh, I was about to say.
No, we don't want to be a part of that. We just figured they would probably, because there were so many of them, we figured maybe they were just going to go do something fun and crazy. We didn't know, but we just wanted to just take our chances because, I'm the crazy one, especially my girlfriend's right along with me. And so anyway, we actually followed them to this big warehouse, and when the doors opened up, all the bikes were like literally drive through, and they park on the other side. It turned out to be this really big party. And we literally just joined the party. We joined the entire party. It was so much fun. I mean, they had all kinds of barbecue and, like drinks and all kinds of good food and music. People were dancing, and we just acted like we were just a part of the, their, whatever was going on with them. We had to figure out, we just acted as we were a part of their crew. And it was just so funny. And we were talking to people as if we knew who they were. And like, oh, this is so-and-so. They were like, oh, isn't it Sheila and Stacy? We're like, yeah. It was hilarious. I mean, we never said anything else, but we actually used to crash parties. What is it called? Weddings too. Kind of like a wedding crasher. So we would do that for fun. But yeah, the point is, it was kind of stupid because we could have been, because we could have ended up in some situation we couldn't get out of. And maybe it was just, what if they were prejudiced or something? It could have been like that. It wasn't. Everybody was really friendly. It was just as much, just crazy and wild as we were. And we just had a really good time. So
and that was going to be my question. Like, what if it wasn't a really good time? Like, when you tell me your stories, it's like you make the worst decisions possible, like anybody could possibly make. And you're like, yeah, but it turned out great though. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God, I would never just follow a group of strangers that I don't know. Are they racist? Are they not? Like, I'm not following them. I'll just be like, okay, well, I'll be over here. And that's it. I'm not. But y'all were like, that looks cool. Let's follow them. Freaking crazy people.
Well, what was really crazy is one of the guys really kind of like had a thing for me that quickly. So he's one that he got us in the door because you had to pay. This big warehouse, you had to pay, and there was passwords and things like that. It was really funny. But, he just kind of got us in. He kind of grabbed my arm like, yeah, she's with me. And I said, oh, am I? It was just really fun.
And he grabs you? Like I said.
Well, no, I mean, he grabbed me to as if she's with me. And then they were like, oh, sure, go ahead. It was just kind of like part of the joke. But it was really fun. They were total strangers, and we had a great time. And, we got back to our car safely. No one kidnapped us. And the one big guy at the door was like, yeah, you're with them. Okay, we'll make sure you're protected.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't. And that story did not end up on Char's Crazy Stories because it was just not long enough. If anything else exciting happened, it would have ended up in one of our bonus episodes. In case
if anything else exciting happened, you wouldn't have been here to tell us about it. But anyway, back to our story.
But anyway, about this particular murder, unfortunately, yeah,
So
we'll continue that.
Julia's older children were also in and out of prison, so that left Julia raising 2 of her grandkids as well as her younger children, which that was another 2 children. And Julia was actually described as being tough but gentle. She loved her kids and she loved her grandkids, and she was very supportive of them. Julia herself, though, had been married 3 times back to back to back to back. So by this time, she had actually just given up on finding another man. But then one day in 2010, she met a guy who was funny and seemed to be amazing. You know, that's our kryptonite, a funny guy. Like, ugh.
Yeah, we definitely have a weakness for a funny guy with
Yeah.
nice teeth. With nice teeth, don't forget.
I mean, with a nice face, nice teeth. It's not like you're gonna be like the crypt keeper, but you're hilarious, and we're just like, oh no, it's not. Yeah. No, you're gonna be our type, whatever our type is. But as long as you have a sense of humor, yeah.
It definitely gets points for sure.
Yeah, but his name was Randy Petty, and he was born on December 8th, 1969. Like I said, he was described as being funny, as always being the life of the party, and people around him actually called him Good Time Petty.
Literally the life of the party. For a good time, call Petty on the wall in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I take that as a different way. But
yeah, it is meant a different way if it's in the bathroom stall. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Don't you stop at little country hick towns on the side of the road and see these things carved into the stall
not just
wall?
listen to my story? No, I don't.
Right,
anyway, but old Good Time had a trouble past himself. His infant, now, I don't know if it was a son or daughter, it didn't say, but his infant child had died of SIDS. Do you know what SIDS is?
Yes.
So, okay, let me let our listeners know. According to childrenshospital.org, quote, sudden infant death syndrome is the sudden and unexplained death of a baby younger than 1 year old. A diagnosis of SIDS is made if the baby's death remains unexplained even after a death scene investigation, an autopsy, and a review of the clinical history, unquote. So I remember SIDS when my daughter was born, and I was like really, like I would keep watching her. I'd wake up in the middle of the night. Is she breathing?
Because it's when they're sleeping mostly. I think they don't wake back up.
Yeah, so basically. So I was always watching her.
Yeah, that would make you really concerned. So, that's scary. Yeah.
So were you scared of SIDS when your son was a baby, or it wasn't really something that was known then? Because
actually, it was, and so, but I kept him with me a lot, just next to me. I mean, for fear of crushing over him. You know, you don't want to, topple over on your baby while you're sleeping. But I was just so concerned about that. So yeah, I would try to keep him as much as I could next to me when he was sleeping, because I just felt like, what if he doesn't wake up? It's so weird. He had a bassinet and a crib, but I don't know why I was just so overprotective. But kind of like how you felt. You were constantly checking your daughter to see if, she's still breathing. Yeah.
My daughter had like a $400 crib. I don't think she used it once.
Well, that sounds like us, because we had a crib and a bassinet. It was not $400 crib or a bassinet, though. That's amazing. Did
well, no, it's because
was
the
it
crib,
gold trimmed?
No. Is the crib? It went
Maybe
from a crib to like a little day bed for a toddler,
that's great.
And then to a headboard and a baseboard. So she used that up until she used that for a long time, and we still have the wood, the headboard, and the baseboard.
The headboard,
for it. Yeah. So. It wasn't just like a crib. Yeah. So anyways, his child had died of SIDS, and the way he decided to cope with this tragedy was by drinking a lot. So that was his issue. Another thing about Petty is that he was significantly younger than Julia. So at this time, Julia was 56 and Petty was 40. So there's like a 16-year age difference.
Yeah.
Which is something that you've done before, Char.
Which is something I've done quite often, Ky. Yes, we know that. But in my defense, they think I'm much younger than they
I was
are
gonna say,
whenever I
but you
meet them.
can you can definitely pull it off because you don't look your age. So
Right.
yeah, but regardless of all of this, Julia was enamored by him. They got along really, really well. Everyone said it. They like got along really well. They were always like really touchy feely, whether they were in private or with everybody. So it looks like they were really happy. They would laugh a lot, talk for hours, and like I said, they just essentially made each other happy.
That's good.
Now, everyone else that was around them would say that when he wasn't drinking, he was a wonderful guy. Now,
That's like anyone who's an alcoholic. That's what they say about almost anyone. I mean, because when you're not under the influence, oh, he's amazing. She's amazing. She's a great person. But that's the whole problem. That's the problem. When are you not drinking? If you're an alcoholic, when are you not drinking? So that beautiful personality can't shine through. So it's just ridiculous to say that, because what difference does it make? You're never going to get that good person in there if they always have a bottle in their mouth,
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
And I was going to
Why
say,
even bother to say that?
I was going to say personally, I don't care how good of a guy you are. If you're drunk, I'm not dealing with you.
Right, exactly. Ky has standards, just so you all know.
My standards, everybody hates my standards because they say it's too much. Anyways, so Julia and Petty, has an ongoing relationship where, for the most part, Julia's happy. But like around 8 or 9 p.m., this is when Petty starts drinking for the day. He doesn't really drink during the day. Around 8 or 9 p.m., that's when he starts drinking. And then Julia's happy time ends up turning miserable because he becomes a butthole. So
that's so creepy. It's like a werewolf. When the sun goes down, and
he actually does this every single
It's like a
day.
Transformation. Does he go behind a building and spin 3 times?
I don't know.
I don't know what
it is. Like,
how do you think about it? It's crazy.
Does he just feel like he needs alcohol? Well, it's 8 o'clock. Alcohol. I need it. Like, I don't know. But
he's going to turn into a pumpkin if he doesn't start drinking by then. It just sounds. But you know what? But I mean, it's a likely story, Ky. Lots of people do that. They're alcoholics. They just can't wait for the evening for a reason to celebrate or a reason to.
Oh, they say they're winding down from their day. Well, yeah, or
chilling and relaxing. This is what I look forward to all day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You look forward to raising hell all day?
So,
like all day. This is crazy.
Well, I don't know. But I was just, wondering, why would she stay with someone like that?
Baby? They have a baby. Oh, the baby.
No, they don't have a baby. That wasn't her baby. That was from his previous relationship.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking it's because, like I said before, she had back-to-back failed marriages. Mm-hmm, and she probably figured that she found a man who made her smile, maybe?
Well, okay. Let me just say this. This is kind of really, because it has a lot to do with character. Like we said, Ky has, yes, very, very stiff standards, and she has a pretty big, what is it called? The list, the list.
Oh.
You can't do this. I forgot what that list is called.
I don't know.
Yeah, what is it? Anyway, but here's where I'm going with this. Okay. I want to know what that list is, if you could think of it. But yeah, here's the problem. The 3 failed relationships or marriages, and then you meet someone who's 16 years younger than you. You don't think something's wrong with that person in a way to say that, and I don't mean that anyone who dates someone that much older and marries them is anything wrong, but what I mean is you got to think about the choices that you're making. If 3 times this didn't work out, now you choose someone that has probably nothing to little in common with you other than sex. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he probably does make you laugh because he's practically a kid compared to your age. So it's like, what else are you going to do? Have sex and laugh and goof around and, and things like that. So what do you really have in common? It's like, how do you really imagine this is really going to work out? And then you start seeing things unravel. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't know this person. How can you know someone that's that much older than you and you probably didn't even get a chance to get to know them in the first place?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that from experience before anybody roast me, But you know what it is, Ky? The list. It's a deal breaker. It's our deal breaker list. Remember that? We had a show about that.
Oh, well, if
with
it's
no
a
context.
deal breaker, my list isn't that long. But
Oh, it's not. I thought it was humongously long. Are you
deal
sure?
breakers, no.
Yeah. Okay.
My
Okay.
deal breakers are like not under 6 foot. Um, you can't have
Nice. I remember nice teeth and preferably
Yeah, I was
Irish
about to say
accent.
you can't. Well, that's not a deal breaker.
Well, it's not a deal breaker. That would just be
It's preferred, yeah.
A preferred, yeah.
But
Okay.
deal breaker is not under 6 feet. Not
Yeah.
You can't be stupid. You can't. You have to have. You can't. You have to hold yourself well, like presence. Like you can't just have a horrible vocabulary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a little educated would help.
I mean,
That's 4.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess you're hitting 6.
Your teeth has to be nice.
Okay. So I guess
That's
you're hitting
really it.
6. It's about right. That's
really
pretty
it.
much at 5, so it's close enough. Well. Apparently, our main character of this story did not have that list or any list,
Any list at all.
any list at all. Okay.
Okay, Char, what did you call that list again?
The deal breaker. The deal breaker.
I've literally never heard of that before. But anyway, what is your deal breaker list? Because mine isn't that big.
It's not.
My preference list is huge, but my deal breaker list is small.
It is. I agree. That's a good question, Ky. So let me think. I'll try to keep mine as short and sweet as yours was. Okay.
Okay.
You've got to have fresh breath. That's one of my first. Fresh breath, and that goes right along with a nice smile or nice teeth. That's all hygiene. Is that all hygiene related? Okay,
Yes.
That's number 2. Well, we'll throw it in that category, right? Number 2. Number 3, you have to have a sense of humor, a natural sense of humor. I don't mean just say something funny to try to make me laugh, because that's corny and I won't like you. Okay, Number 4, educated or at least be willing to learn. And when I say willing to learn, I mean just anything about our world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then my 5th is they have to have a very strong spiritual foundation. That's very important to me. And number 6, they got to either smell good or dress nice, because you can't always get that in the same order.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I noticed you kind of slipped on that one. Yeah.
You could always fix the way they dress. That's not a problem. But
That's true.
smelling good, you can't fix that. So yeah, that
Right.
one. Definitely.
Yeah, so I kind of like my deal breaker list. But you know what? I might have to add something, because remember my previous relationship, obsessive gambler was an issue. And remember, I didn't know that he was also a raging drunk. I literally told his mother that he was the town drunk when I first left him. Now, do you know how insulting that would be to tell someone's mother that?
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
That's pretty bad. Your son was the town drunk. Like, I literally said that. She still loved me. And she said, well, you can come and live with me because he, he's a jerk. But the point is, well, it's awkward. She literally offered me to come and live with her because she bought a new house. 2 new houses, actually. And she said I could live in one of them. No, of course not. But, she was really serious. Regardless of the drunk statement, it didn't seem to bother her, because I think she believed me. Like, yeah, he probably was that B and that, that. Well, I can't say the bastard word. I said it. There you go. I think that's what she said.
I was about to say you said it already.
I think that's what she said.
Okay.
I can't say the B word, but I'll say it. No,
Exactly.
but nevertheless, the point is this. There's nothing wrong with deal breakers, but just make them reasonable. And there is something wrong with not having integrity or wanting that in your partner. So when you don't have integrity in yourself, or if you don't want it in your partner, it means you'll settle for anything. And that's the problem with a lot of relationships. And this is how a lot of people end up on our show, to be honest with you. Because if you're dating someone that probably has integrity, chances of them snapping out, chopping your head off, actually chopping you up and putting you in the freezer, or dragging you out to the desert in the trunk of the car is probably not going to happen. There's a better chance that maybe it won't happen, because it all comes back to your core values. Would you agree, Ky?
I completely agree. Yep.
Yeah. So there you have it, everyone.
Okay, so back to Julia. So my thing is, I think the reason she stayed with him is it's a bad habit that a lot of women have. Not all, but I'll say like maybe 90%. Can you think about when it comes to bad relationships and why the women stay? Can you think about the main reason why women stay.
Is it security? Being afraid to either security, but either being alone or either having no financial stability or foundation.
Those are all good reasons, but the number one reason is
They just think they're in love.
No, we women have a really bad habit of just wanting to fix people.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because I did exactly that. I thought I can change some. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the savior,
And that was with my first marriage. That was my issue. I wanted to fix him. And I think that's why she stayed. I think she thought that if she could show him enough love, so that she could show him there's another avenue of dealing with the loss of his kid.
Exactly.
Like then he'll stop drinking and then he'll be the great guy that he normally is when he's not on alcohol. So I think that's what she was doing. I don't think it's right, don't get me wrong, but I think that could have probably been her thought process as to why she stayed with him. What do you think?
I totally agree with that, Ky. I've got to agree with you because a moment ago, I just made a confirmation that I stayed with the town drunk. That was just an expression, but the point is I thought I could fix him. Even the gambling, I thought I could fix it. So the drinking and the gambling, I thought I could fix it. I would bring home help and brochures and I would tell him, hey, let's go to counseling and I'll hold your hand and I'll help you. I'll be here for you. Don't you worry. Char's to the rescue. Because why? Because I love you and you're going to be that great, amazing guy that I once knew. I've told myself that every day. I told him that. But it doesn't work, ladies. People have to want to be fixed. They have to want to get better. You just can't do that for someone else. And it's greatly disappointing if you even put yourself in that position. So listen to us and listen to the outcome of the story and realize, whatever that might be, that it just doesn't work. You can't fix anyone. You have to fix yourself first.
The thing about it is if you're thinking, like I know women like to say, they might have 3 actual children and then their husband and they'll be like, I have 4 kids.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
That's not, I never ever, even when I was little, I never ever thought that was cute. So the key is if you feel like you're raising a child and one of them isn't yours, then maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship.
I totally agree.
So anyway, in 2011, Julia's daughter, Jackie Ezel, I think that's how you say her last name, Ezel, Ezel.
Okay, we'll go for it.
Yeah, Jackie Ezel moved into the house after serving 9 years in prison for arson and assault. So right now, the people living in her house, in Julia's house, are her 2 younger children, her 2 grandchildren, Petty, Julia, and now her 38-year-old daughter, Jackie. So that just tells you, I didn't tell me how big the house is, but I have a feeling it's not a mansion. I don't even think it's a 5-bedroom. So think of all those people living in her house.
Yeah, that's enough. That's quite a brood there.
Yeah, I would actually be breaking out in hives from the amount of people in that house. I couldn't. Oh my God.
Okay, I think can we go over it again once more? Let's get those names again and ages.
It's her 2 younger children, so that's 2. Her Plus 2 grandchildren, so that's 4. Petty, so that's 5. Julia, so that's 6. And now Jackie, so that's 7.
You're kidding. That's too much.
Yeah, I think one day I might go out and get a pack of cigarettes and just never come back.
Never come back.
And the thing about that is I don't even smoke, so.
Exactly. So then you'll know, oh no, she just left because she was really over us. Like, too many people in this house, not enough room for me. Yeah, that's crazy.
So
I agree. I'm not good with just a lot of people under one roof, even if it was a mansion.
It would have to be a big house where we can go our separate ways.
I have to take the West Wing. You're okay.
Yeah, something like that. But in a 5-bedroom house, that's too much.
No, you're on top of each other. That's just crazy.
So around this time, Julia was getting tired of Petty's constant drinking. I think it was just too much for her with everything else going on. So many people in the house, Petty's drinking, he's being a butthole after 8 or after 9 or, when the full moon is out or whatever. So now everybody said Julia and Jackie were really close. Like they actually said they were like best friends, which is awesome. That's a mother and daughter.
That is cool. Yeah.
So Julia would confess to Jackie everything that was going on with Petty, which I don't know if I would do that. Even if I was best friends with my child, she doesn't need you. You're still mother-daughter. Like
exactly.
Anyways, but Petty had been talking about breaking up with Julia for some time. So one night, Julia asked Jackie for help. both to get Petty to stop drinking and to get him out of the whole mindset of, breaking up. Why would you ask her to help him stop drinking? Like, that's not her. Anyways.
That's not her job.
Yeah. Anyways, in early 2012, Julia organized a family camping trip to Jasper, Texas. So she figured she was turning 58 and she wanted to have a nice family time for her birthday. So they were going to go on a camping trip and, her daughters, her children, her grandchildren, Petty, everybody. So everybody was all assembled and ready to go. And, they're ready to drive off, but 2 people were missing. Can you think of who those 2 people were? Jackie and Petty were nowhere to be found. Yes.
Oh.
So wow. Julia was like, let me call Jackie and see what's going on. And she called her.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, this doesn't look good.
And she called her daughter and she was like, so this is Texas. Okay, so here goes my accent. I could do a Southern accent, no problem. So she called Jackie and she's like, hey, Jackie, we're ready to go. Where in the crap are you, darling? And also, have you seen Petty? Because I can't find him either. So Jackie was like, yeah, about that. So, Mom, I need to talk to you about something. What do you think she had to tell her mother?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to need you to put a little bit more twang in that slur, ma'am. I'm gonna need to talk a little bit more like this. Okay, so where'd they go? I don't know. Well, where was Mama? Mama.
Oh yeah, Mama. Mama. I can't say Mama like that. So remember when I said Julia asked Jackie to speak with Petty about his drinking and his mindset? Yeah, well, Jackie helped him all right.
Okay.
So on this particular day, the entire family was supposed to be at the house ready to drive to the campground. Instead, Jackie and Petty went to the beach. So what I did, me being me, I looked up beaches near Vida because I know where Vida is, and I'm like, that's not even next to a beach.
You didn't make it sound like if there was a beach. You didn't even make it sound remotely.
Yeah.
If I think beach, I think of a pretty, vacation-y type of area.
Well, this is Texas. Get that out your head. That's not
okay. That's exactly why I wasn't picturing that.
Let me rephrase then. There's no water near Vida unless you're going to go to like a creek or something.
Unless there's water in Amarillo, then we'll think there's water nearby.
So I looked it up, and the nearest one is 57.9 miles away, which is an hour and some away.
They drove out of their way.
When
everybody else was at the campgrounds.
Mm-hmm. So basically, from what I'm gathering from that, is they didn't plan on going with Julia and the family at all.
No. Sounds like they made their own plans.
Jackie decided that she needed to speak with her mom about what had been going on because she was tired of hiding this secret from her mother.
Uh-oh.
So she revealed to her mother that her and Petty had been carrying on a secret relationship, which was really an affair because even though he was thinking about breaking up with Julia, he didn't break up with Julia. Now, I was thinking while I was reading this, I'm trying to sit here and think about my daughter having an affair with my husband. And it's like I can't even think about that. My brain won't fathom it. So it's just basically does not compute like that. So I can't even answer you what I would do if that happens because I can't even imagine it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's a tricky one.
But what about you? So you have a son, so you don't have to worry about. I mean,
hope not.
You might. You don't know.
I'm running off with one of your girlfriends. Exactly.
But unless your son went that way, you don't have to worry about your son going with one of your dudes. But what if you found out your sister was having an affair with your husband?
Okay, let's just say no mercy on my end. I would not. There's no compromise. There's no explanation. No, that's not okay. She's just my sister. It's not my son. It's not my daughter. It's not my mother.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was saying. It stings different when it's your child.
Yeah.
Because you can stop talking to your siblings. Like, okay, well, whatever,
Exactly.
But your child. So I couldn't imagine it. So. No. Anyways, so for some time, based on like how we're talking, of course, Julia didn't speak with Jackie. I understand that, Mm-hmm. But, that didn't last long because like I said, Jackie would do anything for her kids. She wants her kids to be happy. Everybody says that about her and her kids, especially with Jackie. That's her best friend and her daughter. So they ended up not staying angry at each other for long. So she told Jackie that she was okay with it, and she decided that she was going to deal with their relationship. Just whatever, Jackie. If it makes you happy, whatever. And she even let Petty move back into her house, which
Oh,
I don't
wow.
see that.
Well, we
I
talked
don't see
about
that.
having integrity or having confidence or certain standards and deal breakers and things like that. Once again, perfect example. She had no barriers, no rules, no guidelines. It's just
Yeah.
whatever because it spilled all the way over into this scandal. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. So now she has to basically watch this relationship going on in her house between her ex-boyfriend and her daughter, who is her best friend. So this is like all kind of what?
All kinds of crazy.
Yeah, it's just like what? So, like I said though, Julia's main thing was just to make her daughter happy. You know what I'm saying? She was a good mom. She loved her children. And you can basically tell that by this story. She's putting her children before everything. Let me put it that way.
Yes,
So,
before her own happiness. Well,
yeah.
we kind of do that, don't we? Well, not to this
I mean,
extent,
to
but
to an extent. There's
to a
an
fault.
extent.
Yeah.
I'm not that good. I can tell you right
Right.
now, I'm not that good.
I just want you to be happy so you can have my husband. There you go.
Anyways, I don't think so. I don't share at all, period. Anyways, I guess at some point, Petty stopped living with Julia and her family because on the day of November 28th, 2012, he had to come back to the house. So that's the story. He came back to the house saying that he wanted to fix the muffler on Julia's car. However, Petty had started drinking vodka long before his normal drinking time. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, on
He's
this
out of
day,
character. Even for him, he's out of character.
yeah, definitely. So, yeah, he started drinking before he normally would. And the way Julia found this out was a bottle fell out of his pant pocket. So, a bottle of vodka just fell out of his pant pocket onto the ground. So, he told her he'd actually been drinking all day. So, can you imagine how freaking drunk he was?
Okay, I like his honesty though, Kai. I really do.
I mean, he's drunk. What's he going to do? Lie?
Well, no, yeah.
I don't
Well,
even think
no.
you could put two
Actually,
brain cells together if you're that damn drunk.
well, no. Here's the thing. Here's the little side joke about drinking. It's about alcohol. It's truth serum. So people generally do tell the truth when they're drunk. They everything comes out. All the little lies that you hid, because you feel so open to just tell it all. So he just basically said, "I'm just going to honestly tell you I've been drinking all day." But that's pretty scary. I would have to run. Because there's no
Yeah.
telling what his wrath will be at this point. It's been building up all day. That's crazy.
Because he also gets mean when he gets drunk, and he's
Hmm.
drunk right now. So
Yeah.
anyway, but I think because of that, Julia took him to his father's house. When she came back home, she said she took him because, he had become very mean. So I'm going to say, she said, in quotes, he had become very mean, hateful, ugly, and a totally different person. So this was actually her words.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Julia said, Petty would hit her daughter when he was drunk and enraged. This is what she said. So later on that day, Petty came back to her house because, you can't keep a drunk man down. And he
Right.
was still drunk because who would not be drunk after drinking all day? Even if he had stopped drinking at that point in time, he'd still be drunk.
You're still drunk. Yeah.
So at first he was only speaking to the other people that were at the house or whatever. And then after a while, he walked on over to her and he was like, quote, "I'd like to have that chat with you about me and Jackie." So Julia said, "If you have anything to say about you and Jackie, maybe you should speak with Jackie or one of your friends, but not me." Well, to
Right.
me this makes sense. Like, can you imagine him asking his ex-girlfriend for advice about his current girlfriend, which also is her daughter? Like, really?
It sounds like Jerry Springer. That's what
Jerry!
Jerry.
Jerry!
Jerry.
But the
Yeah.
only thing is, Jackie wasn't home at this time. But Julia's son's wife was, so her daughter-in-law was. That's the only people that were there. Her grandchildren, her daughter-in-law, Petty had come, and then Julia was there. So he kept pushing to have this conversation. So Julia was like, you know what, Petty, leave. You need to leave. And she basically had to physically push him out the door at this point in time. And then around
Mm.
this time, Jackie called her mother because someone told her that Petty was at the house. And she knows how he gets. And I guess they told her that, he had been drinking and he was drunk and he was acting all crazy. So she called her mother to check up on her mother. And then she ended up calling the police because she was worried about her mother. So police came. They did a welfare check, which they didn't find anything wrong. They just see a drunk guy, and he's just like, I'm here to fix a carburetor or whatever the crap. And, everybody probably said everything was fine. So they ended up leaving. But when Petty found out that they were here for him, he got mad. So after the cops left, her and her daughter-in-law sat in the living room listening to Petty yell at someone on a phone call he'd made. Anyway, next thing you know, they heard this loud noise, which sounded like something hit the car. Well, at that time, the only car that was out there was Julia's car. So she gets up to see, was like, what the fuck? What's going on here?
Maybe like a thump or something. Oh.
Well, you'll understand when I tell you what it was. So she got up to go outside to see what's going on, because it could only be her car. And she found Petty throwing cinder blocks on her car.
Oh.
So you know how big cinder blocks are, right?
Oh, yeah, and heavy and dangerous. Yeah.
And he was just
at anything.
throwing them on her car. So, of course, she's like, what are you doing? Stop! And he kept throwing the blocks on her car or whatever. So they began to argue, and he started pushing her and hitting her. And she pushed him, and then she got to the house. She ran in and locked the door. And they're saying that Petty followed her and started throwing things at her while she ran into the house. Now, Julia went into the house, and she got a 22 gauge shotgun, and she started walking back out, and her daughter-in-law was like, what are you doing? I can't say mama how you say it. What are you doing, mama?
Mama?
Mama? I can't do that. What are you doing, mama? And Julia responded with, I just want to scare him. I'm not going to shoot him up, just going to scare him a little. And she walked out with the gun. Her daughter-in-law, who is pregnant at this time, I forgot to mention, she calls the cops. Because, she's worried about her. She's worried about her unborn child. She's probably worried about Julia's state of mind and everything like that. So she calls the cops. Julia, on the other hand, went outside holding the shotgun and told Petty to leave while, she's threatening him with the gun. I got this here gun. I will shoot you. Get off my property. And
You're getting better.
And
John Wayne.
Petty, who, if you remember, is drunk as a skunk and angry because they called the cops on him. So what's he going to do? Like any drunk person would do? I dare you to shoot me. I dare you, Julia, shoot me. So according to Julia, Petty then started coming towards her, and she said she just started shooting. She fired 3 shots, and the last one hit Petty and killed him.
Oh.
She then walked into the house, put away the gun, and sat on the couch. So when police arrived around 9:40 p.m., they saw that Petty was dead. He was laying in the driveway in a fetal position, and Deputy Greg Harbison took Julia into custody. They brought her to the Orange County Sheriff's office to be questioned. And yes, there is an Orange County in Texas. It's not California. It's Texas.
I was going, that's the other direction. Okay.
Yeah. Julia told officers her version of events. But she was arrested for murder and booked into the Orange County Correctional Facility. And they set her bond at $250,000. So I guess they didn't believe her version of events. So
right, because that's pretty high bond.
Yeah. So she ended up going to trial. Well, she didn't actually physically go to trial, but they had a trial. The trial started on Monday, August 5th, 2013. And it came in front of a jury of 6 women and 3 men. Like I said, Julia didn't want to testify in person, but she did submit a testimony to the police for them to use in the trial. And she pled, so as we always do, as is our norm,
Not guilty.
Yep, I was going to ask you, what do you think she pled? She
Yeah.
pled not
Not
guilty.
guilty.
And she said she was acting in self-defense. So in her testimony, she admitted that she shot Petty from her porch, but she said it was accidental. She stated that she fired warning shots in his direction to scare him, but the third one accidentally hit him. She said before this happened, Petty had assaulted her and she was afraid for her life. So she told everybody that even though he had been violent with her on this night, he'd never assaulted her before that day. So just out of the blue, he starts beating her, even though this had never happened before. And she also submitted pictures into her testimony, which showed scratches on her arms and redness on her face and neck, which the police had seen on the day she'd been arrested. So now, witnesses came and testified that, number one, the shots were only seconds apart. So it's not like she was like, get off my property, bam! I said, get off my property, bam! I'm going to do one more warning. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so witnesses said it was like, bam, bam, bam! That's what it was like.
Oh, that sounds like a crime of passion when you're upset with someone or it's very personal. You know, anytime you shoot so quickly and so fast and you know, without like the witness said, it wasn't there was no space in between where you can say, okay, I just want to give you a last warning. There was none of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they do look at that. They look at if you're stabbed so many times, you know, it's like, okay, that was personal.
Yeah.
If you're stabbed in self-defense, it might be once or twice long
once
enough
or
to
twice,
run,
yeah, just to
drop the
be able
knife
to
and run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So, witness
for her,
testification number 2, Sandra Moore Turner said she never saw Petty lay a finger on anyone in the house ever before. So she corroborated Julia's testimony, which she said that Petty never hit her. So why suddenly today he's just going crazy and hitting her? Then witness testimony number 3, Kylie Hunt, which is her daughter-in-law, testified that Petty was acting very aggressively and scary that night. She also said that she saw Petty hit Julia many times. So now you heard the witnesses. Let's get more into the case. So like I said, Kylie Hunt, that's the daughter-in-law, her 911 call was played in court because when she called 911, remember that's when Julia is walking out with the gun. So on the 911 call, they heard everything, you know, and you can hear her pleading with the dispatcher. I searched for the 911 call. I couldn't find it, so maybe it's not on the internet, but you can hear her pleading with the dispatcher to send help. She was like, please hurry, please. And after Petty was shot, she actually went to check on him, and he was laying there gasping for air. And she said, quote, I was afraid he would get up and attack me. So this is what she testified.
Little old me.
She told cops that when she went to check on him, he had a tire iron in his hand. But when police arrived at the premises and they searched everything, they never found this tire iron. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So also brought in front of the jury was a recorded phone call in the Orange County Jail from February where Julia had told Sandra that she would be a good witness. So now Sandra, remember, she's the one who said, yeah, I've never seen Petty hit anyone. So Julia was talking to her, and she told her, she was like, yeah, you'd be a good witness, and you should tell everyone how we all fared for our lives. Funny thing is, Sandra did the complete opposite of that. Sandra, some people, they're not going to lie for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm one of those people. I'm not lying for you. Don't ask me to lie.
You're not a ride or die. I'm a ride or die. I'm not saying anything.
I didn't say I was going to say anything, but at the same time, don't ask me to lie for you because I don't lie. I'm not lying for you. So if you need me to lie, I am not the person you turn to. I'm just letting you know. So yeah. Oh, and remember, I also wanted to bring this up. Remember in the case in our last episode, if y'all go back to our last episode of Mitrice Richardson, remember they didn't have a recording of her phone call?
They didn't have anything.
Remember we were saying, in what jail do you know that they so see, they recorded Julia, but they didn't get Mitrice? Like, really?
Well, don't forget, but they also didn't have any security footage in the camera because it broke or it wasn't available or something. So there was just a lot
Whatever.
of shadiness going on in that case.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
back to this. Back to this
Back to
episode.
this case. Yeah. I mean, we had
um,
to say it. We had to say it,
I
listeners.
had to. I had to.
We had
But
to.
anyway, they also brought in front of the jury where the bullets on the property were found. So the first bullet shell was found near the front door. So it seemed like soon as she hit the threshold, she was like, bam. And then the second one was found closer to the railing of the porch. And then the last one was actually found a few months into the investigation, and they found that on the porch also. So she didn't even leave her freaking porch.
I fear for my life. But the thing is, it's not really self-defense if you're in front of your door, your back isn't even turned. They can't stab you in the back, so to speak. It's
I
not
mean,
really
she could have
self-defense.
gone in her house and
Well,
locked the door and called 911 and sat there and waited.
yeah, the only time it's really self-defense in that case because she's on her own property, so there are rules and she does have rights. But if he had crossed the threshold of her porch,
Yeah,
you
but
know, you see what
remember,
I'm
she had
saying?
already made it back into the house and
Yeah,
locked the door.
yeah,
So all she had to do
yeah,
was stay there.
exactly.
So assistant district attorney, assistant
District
district,
attorney.
shut up. Assistant District Attorney Corey Nealon used a tape measure to show the jurors how far Julia was from Petty when she shot him. So according to evidence, Petty was only about 35 feet away from Julia when she shot him. So not even far. Then later, autopsy reports found Petty was shot through the heart by a single bullet that had also penetrated his spine. His
Ooh.
blood alcohol level was at 0.261, and he had a small amount of diazepam in
The
his
drug.
system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so diazepam is a muscle relaxant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need to know, is 0.261 a high blood alcohol level?
Yes, because I think if you get arrested, I don't think it could be over 1 point, maybe 1.5 or something. So I think he was probably double. It sounds like it's like he was
One and a
double the.
half. It says
Well,
0.261.
No, I'm saying the level of alcohol. Let's say if you're being pulled over for drunk driving, you see what I mean? It's so that sounds like to me it was double what the required maximum is of a person that's considered to be drunk. You know, according to the law. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because
let's
he wasn't
find out.
driving, but
Let's
you
find
know,
out. What
yeah,
is the legal blood
limit.
alcohol limit? Blood
Yes.
alcohol level. And I guess it's different for each state.
No,
Alcohol
well, is it different for each
in
state?
Texas. Let's see.
Okay, I don't. Okay.
All right. Good Lord. Dude,
What?
it's
What?
0.08%. And he
Well,
was
see, that's what I said. I thought it was like maybe 1 point something, but that it's small. So I figure he was double, but he was almost 3 times. See what I'm saying?
dude, wow.
Yeah, I knew it was low though.
He was
That's
drinking
considered to-
every piece of
He was
alcohol he
drinking
could find. My God,
Right.
his blood was
the
alcohol.
rubbing alcohol, for scrapes.
He drank Benadryl. He drank the
Aquanet
mouthwash.
hairspray. Yeah, Benadryl.
He
Definitely the
he
mouthwash.
probably made some grapes go rotten himself and ate those. Like he was
After
doing
stepped on them
everything.
first.
Oh
Yes.
my God,
Yeah, he was doing the most. That's crazy.
dude! I can't even. I'm floored by that. Wow. Anyways,
Yeah.
the jury deliberated that Julia was aware of her conduct, which I personally agree. But during consideration, they acted only with what they called, quote unquote, fact-finding freedom. And they poo-pooed her claim that she was acting in self-defense. They used her words that she said, quote, she shot and killed him but did not murder him. Why would you say that? Wow. So they used her words when they were deliberating. That was some major cajones to say that. With all the facts, the jury concluded that the evidence was sufficient to support their conclusion that Julia intended to kill Petty. Now,
yeah, it looks that way.
it looks that way. On
Yes.
August 8th, 2013, Julia was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 44 years in prison for first-degree murder. She'll be eligible for parole in 22 years. So let's see when's that.
Oh, that's a long time from now.
Let's
46, 2040, 45 maybe? because it's almost 22 right now. Well, let's call this 22. It's almost 2022. So that's like
No,
44.
2035.
No, you just said
I
22 years.
just, yeah, before she's eligible for parole.
No.
2013. Okay, look.
Oh, no, I'm looking at today's
2013
time.
plus
You mean
22
back
is
then.
2035.
You're absolutely right. I'm looking at our time. That's why I said we're almost 2022. You're
Yeah.
talking about in 2013. Hello. That's when the murder
So
happened.
before
Okay,
she's
got it.
eligible for parole, that doesn't mean she's going to get out.
That doesn't
She
mean you're
still
going to
has
get it.
14 more years to go. So,
What do you think about that sentence? Don't you think that was a little steep?
well, a juror later said that Julia's claim of self-defense wasn't even part of their discussion when they were deliberating. While they were deciding her punishment, though, they started at 50 years and then deducted years considering her health and age. That's how they came up with that time.
No, I'm not going with just that angle, Kai. I mean,
That's what the juror said.
No, but don't you see what the obvious is? Wouldn't she say that he was having an affair? Or, right? Wouldn't you use that? Oh,
that's not a defense. Like, yeah, he was having an affair with my daughter. So
okay, but that is
I sure didn't.
Because that looks like she's emotionally abused. She's being neglected.
Oh, I was talking about her defense. Yeah. I mean, they could. I think that's what they used based on the fact that her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever, cheated on her with her daughter, and then had a relationship with her daughter, and then lived with her for a little while, having that relationship with her daughter, and then was like, "Hey, I'm drunk, but we need to talk about me, you, and your daughter." Like, so yeah, it all points to a crime of passion. You were like pissed at him. You couldn't be pissed at your daughter because that's your little girl, but you were pissed at him.
Hence the bullets. That's exactly.
But what does that have to do with the steep sentence? They sentenced her for first-degree murder.
But I know. Well, Texas is not where you want to go to prison or be sentenced in the first place for stealing a piece of bubble gum. It's not the place to be. You know what I mean? They're going to go hard. They're going to go steep and deep. So that's it. That's Texas for you.
Wow.
You know the model in Texas. Everything's
that sounds
bigger.
Pretty good. Everything hard, steep, deep. Everything's bigger.
Okay, so in my defense, Ky knows that I'm having some withdrawal symptoms over here.
Apparently, I'm having those same symptoms.
Apparently, I'm rubbing off on her. We're just having one of those girl moments, okay? Well, women know these things. They go through it too. Yeah, but you know that model, everything's bigger in Texas, like the steaks and the cows. I don't know, everything's bigger. The land, okay. So apparently the sentences are too, because we've always known, don't get yourself hemmed up in any kind of legal trouble in Texas. They're going to just throw the book at you. But I personally feel I have nothing to do with this. I mean, I don't have any bearings on anything. But in my humble opinion, I still think that's a lot. I just think that's
she shot a man in cold blood. How is that a lot?
But I
what
don't
should
feel
she
like
have
it was
gotten?
Totally cold blood, because there's history. I mean, he was drunk all the time. We don't know what kind of slurs and slander and emotional distress he could have caused on these drunken rages.
So what?
But it's harder to heal.
Get him away from your house.
Emotional pain's harder to heal than broken bones. Everybody knows that. So why are we not looking at
none of that
angle?
is a reason to kill him. Now, I could understand if he was, I don't know, threatening her daughter with death or something like that. Hey, I'll come to your house and light it on fire one night or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But just the fact that you can get him away from you, lock your house, none of this warrants shooting him. She was already in the house, if you don't remember. She was already in the house, door locked. She just had to stay there. Now, if he kept bashing up her car, then you call 911 on him, they'll file a claim, and then you take that to your insurance company, and then he just has to pay for that. So, either way, I don't see what warranted her going out and shooting him. She was already safe in her house. Now, if he had thrown the cinder block through her window and was like, I'm going to crawl in there, Julia, and take this other here cinder block and bash your head, that's different. But none of that happened.
You're flooring me with these accents. Pretty good. That was pretty good.
But none of that happened. So
Okay, well, all I know is that every now and again, Kai knows this, and you guys that listen and follow, every now and again, I feel like an advocate for these cases, for some of these people that are, well, for the murderers. Sometimes I feel that maybe they didn't get justice. Hey, that's what I'm feeling at the moment. It's just what it is. That's it.
Well, for this particular one, I don't know. I don't think it's a lot. I don't know. I don't know. I think she just was really angry. I don't think she really meant to kill him. I think it was just a culmination of everything. Like, she had to internalize the fact that she really loved him and he cheated on her. Not only did he cheat on her, he cheated on her with her daughter. Then they had this relationship behind her back, and it's a huge betrayal that it's your daughter, but she couldn't really like stay angry at her daughter, so that's another thing she has to put in, like, just internalize. And then she was like, to make her daughter happy, sure, go out with him, sure, he could move in here. That's three huge things that she's internalizing.
Huge. So you don't think the defense should look at that?
And
that's
then
my point.
And then what was
the
I gonna
drunken
say?
rages? I'm not excusing that.
No.
How I feel
Yeah,
about
that also. But that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. She had to look at this every single day. They were coming in there, hugging each other, kissing on each other, saying sweet little nothings, and she's staring at this every day.
They're
And
just
so that's
taunting her
those. So
slowly
that's
every
those
day.
three
That's
things
crazy.
that she's living with every single day. Well, four actually with the thing. But I don't think her daughter's taunting her. I think they're just living the life, and her daughter's not thinking. And then here he comes. I want to talk to you about my relationship. Like, BITCHF. Are you serious right now?
Even to put that word on it, relationship. Oh.
So then that's like, okay, already she's getting angry. And then he's drunk, which they said how he acted with he's drunk. So that's another thing that's making her angry that day. And then he has the audacity to start bashing up her car. So I think it was just, she was pissed at that time.
But you sound like you're on my defense team, so why can't you see my point?
But I'm saying as if I'm a human being, just a regular person. But if I had to come from the standpoint of a lawyer and a judge, none of that warrants you killing somebody. So you still broke the law. It's not self-defense. You're trying to, the fact that she tried to flip it to make it look like, oh yeah, maybe, hey, go on the stand and lie for me and say we were all scared. Just different ways where she was trying to make it look like this way. So it's like you're trying to lie now. So it's like you're trying to act like we're all stupid now. So when you take the emotion out of it and you just do your job, that's not a bad sentence. Now, when you put the emotion into it and you look at it from the standpoint of a woman who was really emotionally damaged, then that's a huge sentence. So I could see it from both sides.
Okay. Well, there you have it, listeners. I mean, hey.
Okay. So after the guilty verdict, Julia took to the stand and said, quote, "I am so sorry. I shot my best friend. I lost him too, so I know what they were going through." So Julia is currently 67 years old, and Randy Petty is dead. And that's the story of Julia and Petty.
Well, Kai, she killed her husband with a shotgun and just shot him dead. Don't you think that was a little petty?
I see what you did there. Doo-doo. I don't know how I did.
Julia, you're being just a little petty, Julia.
I don't know how I did that entire episode, and that joke did not come to me.
It never came to you.
No. Oh my God, that was so good though.
Or do you think the judge with that 45-year sentence was being just a little petty? Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much. So what do you think? You think it was self-defense or jealousy? Or do you think it was a bit of both?
Yeah, definitely tell us in the comments below.
Mm-hmm. I was asking you, Char.
Oh, well, make sure you tell us in the comments.
Well, that was my next thing. What do y'all think, just listeners out there?
They agree with us.
Yeah. What do y'all think? Do you think it was self-defense? Do y'all think it was jealousy? definitely tell us in the comments below or go to our social media and let us know what you think. You can, and this is where we now plug our stuff. Yeah.
All of our stuff. And let us know if you love our silly stuff too. All of our silliness.
So basically, you could tell us what you thought about this episode. Go to facebook.com/relationship crime. You could tell us on Instagram at Love Murder Podcast. You could actually go to our Twitter if you want to tweet at us. And our Twitter, I think, is, I don't know my Twitter. Oh my God, I got to look up the Twitter, Char.
Well, how often do you tweet yourself?
All the time. I've been on Twitter a lot, actually. Actually, our Twitter
yourself?
lit. No. Our Twitter handle is our old podcast handle, which is at No Conduct Radio. So you could tweet us there too. You can join our Facebook fan group, which we've had an influx of people this week. I'm so excited about that.
Ky. That's
so you
really
can
awesome.
Search our Facebook fan group. Search Facebook at Love and Murder fan page. Just put that in. I actually searched it in Google last week, just Love and Murder fan page, and it came up. So you could do that too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you like this story, please go to Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars. Say whatever you want in the comment section, like, I don't know, we play too much, or Char overused that term petty. It was like, yeah, one time was good. She just kept going with it.
Okay, Ky, I think you're being a little petty with that comment.
Oh, good God.
Just as a...
Just put in the comments, tell Char to stop. Okay. So when you do this, this actually helps bring us up in the charts. Don't forget to visit us on YouTube. I even forgot what it was. Don't forget to visit us on YouTube and go ahead and subscribe to us over there for what we have coming out. You could also go to our Patreon, whichever one, YouTube or Patreon, and all those links are in the show notes below. Yeah, so, you know what? Merch. Can't forget the merch.
Yes, don't forget the merch.
If you weren't following us on our social media, y'all missed a 24-hour sale. It was a flash sale. All fitted tees were only $11.94, but they constantly are having sales. So definitely,
that's a good deal.
Definitely, if you want your true crime merch, go to loveandmurder.threadless.com. But you know, the easiest thing you could do is you could find all of this on our website at www.murderandlove.com. So that's Love and Murder backwards, murderandlove.com. And the best, fastest, and most appreciated way for you to help us out, it's free, it's fast, and we appreciate it, is just simply share this episode. Basically, take the link to this episode and put it on your social media. Text it to your friend, email it, whatever. Share this episode. It takes only 3 seconds, and it helps us out really, really, really much. So that's what we have today for you, Julia and Randy. Poor people, both of them. Even though Julia was the murderer, I do feel bad for her for what she had to go through. And I do feel bad for Randy because, you know, he's kind of dead.
He's no longer here.
And I feel bad for Julia's sister, Julia's
daughter.
Her children, because she was really close with her children and her grandchildren, and now she's not with them anymore. She's in jail. So I really feel bad for everybody involved here.
I agree.
So what I want to remind y'all about is, if your daughter ends up getting with your boyfriend or your husband, please just remember our motto, which is all love and no murder, y'all. Peace. Have a good night.
Bye.